everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. It's a dangerous love affair. Can't be scared when it goes down. Got a problem, tell me now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance. Get your fatigues on. All black, everything. Black cars, all black, everything. And I love the words. Running with the I can't more than tap if you boys really real enough. This is not familiar. I'll explain later. But for now, let me get back to this paper. I'm a couple bands down and I'm trying to get back. I gave Doug a grip, I lost a flip for 5 stacks. Yeah, I'm talking 5,6 zeros out, zeros here. Back to running circles round. Never squared up.
Oh my goodness!
Anything that's in the championship is not it's a f***ing season. No matter who got what stats or whatever. Don't mean nothing.
So I'm gonna leave it all out there. Ain't no f***ing tomorrow. You hear me? Let's go. Leave it all out there in the field.
I'm loving it, man. IOD on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. You can call me Caesar. In a dark Caesar. Just follow the leader. So everything we are. Microphone fiend is the return of the God. He's God. Ain't nobody fresher. I'm in. They sit, Martin Marcella on the table screaming. The other side, they jealous. We got a banquet full of. They got a table full of fellas.
Feel it coming in the air. Hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. It's a dangerous love affair. Victories within the mile. Almost there, don't give up now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight. Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Can they catch him? Touchdown, yes!
Yeah.
All right, people, welcome back. If that preview didn't hype you up, something's wrong with you. You're not a real football person. I think that was one of the best preview videos Tuff Talk has ever done. I mean, better than we did championship videos. We did, which is great, awesome. We did our all-star videos. But that championship video was my favorite because it takes you through the intensity of the season. It takes you basically, it's like telling a story of both teams without words. You know what I mean? As far as without a real narrating. You just hear a lot of sound effects, and then you hear the one that you heard, the first one talking for IOD, that was Swiss. And the person you heard talking for Grind Time, that was Yomi. It put everything in the right perspective in about a 2-minute video.
And then you hear some throw-ins of Lou, the quarterback of Grind Time, speaking to his team. So it's little highlights here and there, pretty much inspirational words for their team or whatever stuff to get them hyped up. And we pretty much just combine that into one video just to show how intense the championship was meant to be.
And this right now, this game is gonna come down to, you got, it's a lot of different scenarios. You have Grind Time coming in, leading the league in sacks. You have IOD coming in, leading the league in interceptions when they struggled on that last year. This year, they led the league in interceptions. They struggled in sacks. They dropped all the way to 6, but I think that was mostly because you had Akon and Swiss. They didn't really play. Grind Time led the league in sacks. There was 4th in interceptions. That's why Jalen's up there going to All-Star game. Shy played well this season, But despite all of that, I think it comes down to 2 men. It's these 2 men. Adi, the starting quarterback of IOD, and Lou, the starting quarterback of Grind Time. And Adi comes in, 20 touchdowns this season, 8 interceptions. Lou comes in, 17 touchdowns this season, 5 interceptions. Adi threw 3 more touchdowns than Lou, but Lou threw 3 less interceptions than Adi. What do you think that says about the quarterbacks?
There's a little difference in terms of the stat run, leading into this game. Obviously, with Lou, his quarterbacking, he didn't throw as many interceptions because he didn't force as many passes because he had more protection in the pocket. Adi is one person that tries to go downfield a lot, so he's willing to take chances. He didn't always have a lot of the block. He did have Johnny, every now and then throughout the season. He didn't have Swiss and Akon protecting him as well. So between him taking shots downfield and not always having the protection that he needs, and because he's not a quarterback, even though he can run, he's not as mobile as Lou. He's forced to throw the ball a little bit more, and that's why he ended up throwing more interceptions than Lou. So those little things factor into why the stats lined up the way it did.
I agree with you somewhat to your point. Mm-hmm. I think the difference between these quarterbacks is Lou is more of a guy that he's going to scramble in the pocket.
Yeah.
He's not looking to run. Mm-hmm. He's looking to buy time.
Yeah.
And because of that, receivers break off their route, and he's able to make more safe passes. Mm-hmm. The only reason I think he has 5 interceptions is he threw 3 against LES, which is his worst game of the season. Mm-hmm. If you take those 3 out, Lou only threw 2 picks this season.
Yeah.
So I think with that being said, he is not a guy, that's going to really take too many chances. He's a home run hitter.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that Bo and Brian and White can create so much separation, it limits its Lou's interceptions.
Yeah.
I didn't have Akon and Swiss the whole season. Most of the times they was at the game, they rarely played together.
Yeah.
So he spread the ball out a little more to more guys, but he made a few mistakes certain games. He got fooled certain games. You know what I mean? But and he's not as mobile in the pocket like you said.
Yeah.
I do agree with that as Lou. So sometimes he'll take a shot or make a throw that we saw certain passes were short, certain passes like this. So that's why I think Adi, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
But he won a championship, so he kind of knows what he's doing. As far as the game, the reason this game is important is because you just came off the controversy game versus Carver, as far as Lou did, beating them with no Chuck. But they did have Tommy. Tommy is a top 5 quarterback in football, but he has not. His first pass in the UFL was in the Final Four game. Mm-hmm. So I think Lou is up to solidify himself as a top quarterback by playing another top quarterback. That being said, I don't think, and we already know this is a few weeks after, so we know the outcome of the game. But as I said, coming into this game a few weeks back, Lou has to show the ability to be able to keep up with this ILD team. He has to show the ability to be able to stay with the big boys in order to solidify himself as a championship quarterback. Mm-hmm. I believe this is his first A championship game, I believe. As far as I know, this is his first A championship. So if you perform well enough, you kind of take out the fact that how you got here. Mm-hmm. If you perform well enough. If you struggle the whole game, you're going to look like you didn't deserve to be here, even though some people believe they didn't believe on him because they didn't play Carver with Chuck. You want to show that even with Chuck, we had opportunity. On the other side, ILD is a team that's been to this game. It's the second time they was here, but they also made 3 Final Fours. So, and lost those games. So they're trying to not only win this game, they're trying to be up there with Carver as one of the top teams in UFL history. I think it's going to be hard for them to surpass Carver, even though they're going to the outcome of this game. But they could solidify this up as number 2. Mm-hmm. Because before this game, I still had the Browns and YMM over this team. Okay. As far as the top number 2 team in the league.
Even after the championship,
because remember, Browns played the 2-time champs, who will be evidently be the 3-time champs. And Chuck numbers versus the Browns is terrible.
Yeah.
That was a different Browns team. That Browns team, ILD couldn't get past them.
Yeah.
That Browns team, YMM couldn't get past them. So you have to say, in order for them to jump and say, well, they're the second best team, because I think that's what everybody's fighting for, they will have to show it coming into this game. What do you think?
And I think that at the end of the day, there was a lot of, a lot of back and forth about, ILD not necessarily being a team that's compared to a team like Carver, because the team that they faced last year isn't a team that's in that echelon, which is them Getters last year, who they beat. But that was a contentious game last year in and of itself.
And it was playing the top offense.
And the quarterback that was on that Browns team that you've been talking about was on this Dem Getters team, having the best season he's ever had in the league.
Correct.
So to say that this wasn't, that this team didn't earn
is disrespectful to ILD.
Yes.
I agree.
So my thing is on that side. And when you mentioned the thing about Lou, trying to solidify himself as a quarterback winning this championship, it's unfair to look at it and say, well, there's a asterisk on this championship, appearance, because the way they beat Carver, they didn't have Chuck. Because like Lou said, he faced off against the defense, not the quarterback. And this was still the Carver Mob defense that was the best in the league.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, he was able to pick apart this defense by himself, obviously with the help of his offense. So you can't take nothing away from him in his contention to this championship here. He deserves to be here, and that's why these two teams are facing off right now.
All right, we're going to jump on into the game with Grind Time getting the ball. Lou on first down is sacked by PJ. That's big sack. That's on first down. That's a good way to start. I think Lou was more looking for more and took the sack a little bit, but that's a big sack by PJ. Second down, Lou's going to get the ball. He's going to pump and throw deep to White, wide open in the gap, who's going to run it all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. If you look right here, Buck gets caught watching Lou as Akon lets White go deep. Touchdown, 6-0, Grind Time.
And this is a clear miscommunication between these two guys here. As Akon is guarding the sideline, he knows that the safety is in the back, so he's looking to let him go to guard that area as a receiver comes in front of him. Unfortunately, Buck, too busy watching the quarterback, not communicating with his with the sideline or whatever, not paying attention to the way these receivers are running. He by the time he's able to react, White gets past him for the touchdown there. White is too fast for you to give him space that much.
And Buck is not a great defender. We know that. We've seen him make mistakes. And Lou attacks him, and I think White is one of the most underrated offensive players in the game. This kid got speed, and he reminds me of a Julian Edelman. The guy is money on the time. Yeah. You got to watch him in the slot because he has the speed, and if you give this guy space, he's going to make you pay. 6-0, great way for Lou to find him and start up the drive. Next drive, ILD gets the ball at the 15-yard line as Jesus misses the kickoff, and that is big. That is huge. Grind Time, more of a finesse speed defense, gets ILD pushed back to the 15-yard line on the
and
kickoff.
If you look here, it was this is a routine kick return right here, but because the sun is so high in the sky or whatever, you see that Jesus kind of loses it in the air as he goes to pick it up. Obviously, they're not used to playing a championship
in the day
in this field,
right?
And because of that, he drops the ball.
First down, Adi throws to Buck, but the pass is blocked by Bo. They got Bo playing giver. Great play by Bo there to knock the ball down. Second down, Adi throws to Jesus on the sideline. That pass is dropped, incomplete. Third down, Adi gets blitzed by Rob, who gets past Akon, and Adi is sacked by Rob. ILD is going to have to punt. Rob is a blitzer. That is what he does. That is where he makes his bucks on, and that is a great sack, especially from the get past Akon. That is a great play. We see Jesus drop the ball on the kickoff, then he's going to drop the ball on the pass, and ILD, the defending champ, do look anything but that. They're going to have to punt.
And the thing about this play here with the blitz, this is something that Rob has been helping this defense with all season. This guy is physical. He knows how to get through guys, and all you have to do is leverage the blocker enough so that you can get to the quarterback. That's exactly what he does. Akon is not a person that's easy to get through, but Rob manages to be the guy to do that, and he gets a sack, leading to them getting the ball back.
Second down, after a short pass, Lou was blitzed by Swiss. picked up by Yomi. Lou throws to White wide open on the sideline, who runs for a nice gain. We seen Swiss win the MVP in the chip game last year. Not only did he catch a big touchdown pass, he had 3 sacks. Different formula here. Yomi is a blocker. He's a guy who took similar to like a Chris Bosh, when Bosh left Toronto to go to Miami and he changed his role. Well, Yomi came to Grind Time, and in order to win a championship, changed his role, became a blocker, and was dominant on it, and great block there by Yomi. Plus, you seen him earlier knock me down in the All-Star game. Third down, Lou throws to White on the sideline, getting to the 7-yard line. 4th and goal, Lou finds Bolt cutting in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, Bolt beat Brandon cutting inside. Lou finds him 12-0. Grind Time scores again.
And these are 2 guys you do not want to get in a rhythm for in this part of the game, because these guys have been killing all season, and in a championship game is not a time for you to get these guys in sync. That's exactly what happens on this play as Bolt gets past Brandon. He's one of the hardest guys to guard on this field, and because of that, that's yet another touchdown score by Grind Time.
12-0, Grind Time. ILD's going to get the ball back at the 21-yard line as Slasher steps out of bounds on the kickoff. Adi throws to Brandon in the gap, who runs for a decent gain. 3rd down at the 48-yard line. Adi runs off 4 rush for a decent gain and a 1st down. If you look here, Slasher blocks Frank as he blitzing in. Adi with a nice run.
And that extra protection gives Adi the chance to make a run for it. As he knows that there's no play here, he has protection from Slasher, and he runs for a decent gain, not forcing any passes, and keeps the drive going.
Rob is your blitzer, not Frank.
Yeah.
Why change what works? I don't care if they know the blitz is coming. Let them know they have to stop Rob. I think that was a bad blitz. It was a waste of the defender with Frank blitzing him. That's not what he does. And they pick him up, and Adi runs for a 1st down. With blocking from Swiss, Adi throws deep to Buck, who gets past Baca in the gap, caught in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, Baca lets him go as everybody else locks up. Hummer gets the extra point, 12-7. ILD crawls right back in.
And now Grind Time's defense is starting to slip. If you see here, Baca's the only one still playing a zone as everybody locks up in a man on 3 rush. And because of that, Baca lets the guy go too late, thinking that somebody's going to pick him up. By the time he reacts, it's too late, and they get the score right here.
1st down, Lou with blocker from Yomi, scrambles, but is sacked by Swiss. PJ gets by Yomi, forcing Lou to scramble. But what I like about that is Lou could have ran. He doesn't want to run. He is looking downfield like a Russell Wilson. That's why I compare him to this guy, because at the end of the day, they call him Lou Rockets. He's looking to throw. He's not looking to run. He takes a sack there, but it's a smart sack. 2nd down, Lou gets blitzed by Swiss, blocked by Yomi. Lou tries to run on 4 rush, but it's tagged Swiss for a 1-yard gain. But if you look here, look at Swiss. He looks exhausted. He also looks hurt on that. Yomi is giving Swiss the business. Lou could have ran. He didn't, because he's looking downfield and he know he can always get the 1st down. Swiss does not look dominant as he was in last year's championship game. Different blocker, different outcome. 3rd down, Lou on 4 rush, rolls left, throws to Anthony in the middle for a short gain, picking up the 1st down. Swiss wants to challenge if the ball hit the ground during the catch, but the sideline doesn't throw the flag in time as Lou calls a quick hike. Lou throws an E-Rock on the sideline, who runs for the nice gain. ILD's flag for offsides penalty. The blitzes decline, the plays decline, but then Swiss gets flagged for cursing. So all of this happened on one play, but let's go to the first play. Was this a catch? What do you think? Give me that first.
And the sad part is, if they would have challenged this, if you look at this play here, this ball did hit the ground. This was an incomplete pass. And if you look at this play, if they were challenging this play properly, this would have been an incomplete pass. This would have been an overturned play. If you look here, the ball clearly hits the ground as Anthony goes for it. He tries to cover to clean everything up, but this was a drop pass right here. And because the sideline is getting caught slipping, not throwing the flag out when Swiss is calling for it, Lou, being a smart quarterback that he is, runs to the line, gets everybody ready to call a hike, and he runs the play before they're able to throw the flag out. Because the miscommunication between Adi and Swiss and the sideline, Swiss ends up cursing way afterwards after they got that big gain afterwards. So this is a whole mess happening on ILD's side, and this is where you miss a definitive coach and Tony. And Tony hasn't been in the last few years for, his own personal reasons.
He's dealing with his son. He's doing basketball with his son.
So at the end of the day, this is why you need a definitive coach to be ready to make these decisions. And because they're not making these decisions, they lose a big opportunity here to stop a big play. And that's big gain for Grind Time.
And right now, Grind Time is smacking the champs in the mouth. Because at the end of the day, they're confused. They don't know. Swiss is yelling to throw the challenge flag, and they don't. And Lou knows he don't want to take a shot and give him a chance because then it would have been 4th down.
Yes.
So he rushes to the line, gets a pass off quick before they have a chance to challenge. And Swiss is so frustrated, not only because the guys ain't listening, because he's not getting by Yomi. Swiss dominated last year. He was challenged against Hollywood. This is not Hollywood. Yomi has size on Hollywood. Pause. And he's a better blocker than Hollywood. And this is a great play. And the frustration of everything happening caused Swiss to get a 15-yard for Curson. Second out, Lou's blitzed by Swiss, who's blocked again by Yomi. Lou finds Brian in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. As Brandon leaves him open, Brian's going to get the extra point. 19-7. Grind.
Their sideline is not making the right decisions. It seems like they're falling apart right now, and Lou and this Grind Time team is taking advantage here.
First down, Adi throws a slash in the gap for a decent gain. Adi then, with blocking from Swiss, rolls right, throws short to Swiss, who runs for a decent gain, picking up the first down. Adi throws a slash in the gap, who pitches it to Jesus, getting him to the 20-yard line. This team does it better than anybody in the league. You got to watch and they get yards from that. Third down, Adi throws a slasher open in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, slasher runs right by Rob on the sideline, and Brandon gets the extra point. 19-14, ILD scores.
And if you look at this drive, you see Slasher gets a few good passes here, and he's helping them drive down the field. And if you look at the end of this drive, he gets that touchdown. Why? Because they have him lined up one-on-one with Rob. And Adi's going to see that and attack it every single time. Hopefully, with them, there's a mistake that they can't make. Rob is not a defender that's able to keep up with Slasher.
He's not a cover guy.
That's the thing. He's a good blitzer. He's a physical defender, but he cannot keep up with Slash. Slash is one of their best players on his team, and that's one of the reasons why they were able to score here.
19-14 Grind Time. Lou gets blitzed by Swiss, blocked by Yomi. Lou throws deep to Brian, cutting in the gap, almost picked off by Buck. Grind Time still at the 40-yard line. Second down, Lou on 4 rush, throws deep to Brian, cutting in the gap, picked off by Buck. ILD gets the ball back. If you look right here, Anthony is open, and Lou misses him.
And if you look at this play, it seems like they run the same play right after you see Buck drop the interception.
Right.
So Buck is ready for this play. He kind of stepped up after the mistake that he made early in the game. He's here waiting for this pass, and unfortunately, Lou doesn't see that, and he throws it right back to Buck when he could have kept the drive going with Anthony cutting in the gap. But because he takes the risk here, Buck capitalizes and gets the big interception.
Last play before half, Adi's blitz and sacked by Rob, taking us into the half. 19-14 Grind Time.
And the thing about this is, obviously, they were at the 46-yard line. The time was running out, so Lou felt like he had to take a chance downfield from that play. But with 11 or so seconds, that's enough to get a better play off. You throw it to the short guy, get him out of bounds or whatever. Remember, the first down is a timeout. So you use that to your advantage and get an easier play downfield. It seems like Lou took his chances, and because of that, this drive right here was ended quicker than they needed to, and that ends the half with IOD coming back right behind this Grind Time team when there was ahead 2 touchdowns early. So they need to reduce the mistakes. They need to make sure that they're on point and on the same page on defense. They made a few mistakes towards the end of the half. They have to clean that up, and they cannot let certain players get isolated on defense. Certain players do not need to be lined up where they're getting beat by their best receivers. They have to make better decisions on who's their personnel on defense. If they don't make that switch on defense, I think they're going to have some trouble moving forward. And this is Grind Time talking about.
From ILD, I'll take this. I'm going to tell you why. We gave up 3 touchdowns. But we only gave up 1 extra point. We scored 2 touchdowns, but we got both our extra points. It's 19-14. We're chasing 5. So a touchdown gives us a lead. That's different if they would have got their extra points. And that's why extra points is so important. On the other side, we made mistakes. We seen them attack us the same way they attacked Carver, with their speed. Brian, Bo, White. That's loose weapons. We can't stop all of them. We got to take one out. We got to slow down White. Because White is in a slot. Bo lines up in the slot, but he runs a lot of out routes. He gets lost because it's Bo. I mean, he gets watched because it's Bo. Brian is a downfield guy. He's not a great route runner. His route running has gotten better. But we've seen both these guys hurt Carver. But White is the guy that kills you because a lot of times you have your third and fourth defender on him because your top guys are trying to take out Brian because of his size and speed. Your other guys trying to take away Bo because of his blazing speed and his ability to make big catches. That we neglect White. We got to take him out the game. We got to minimize what he can do. The blitz isn't working. Yomi has got our former MVP of the championship game on lockdown. Swiss did not touch Lou. Only time Swiss got him is when Lou didn't run the ball because he didn't want the first down. Swiss is exhausted. He doesn't look like he's going to be that guy to make the plays for this game. That's so we have to have other guys step up.
Yeah.
And this is where it comes to our quarterback. He has to lead the charge because he doesn't have Swiss to bail him out this year like he did last year. But this is the bad man. This is what he does. So by us to be giving up 3 touchdowns in the first half, especially 2 back-to-back after they stopped us, and right now we're going into half down 5, I will take that. Second half, ILD gets the ball. PJ with a nice kick return, getting him to the opposing 43-yard line for an out. Now, that's a good thing or a bad thing because now they get 4 shots, but it's from the 43-yard line. This kid, PJ, is a playmaker.
Yeah.
He's the next upcoming on this ILD squad. Great play by him. Adi on 4 rush, throws a slasher, cutting in the middle for a decent game. Second down, we're blocking from Swiss. Adi runs on the sideline for a decent game. Third down, Adi's blitzed by Baca, who's blocked by Akon. Adi throws the buck in the middle, getting him to the 7-yard line. I do not like their blitzing scheme. They're blitzing Baca. They blitzing Frank. And Rob is the only one who has 2 sacks. Why are you not blitzing him? He's your muscle. These guys are not getting by Swiss and Akon. I'm going to send my muscle, and I think Grind Time messed that up by blitzing these other 2 guys. 4th and goal. We're blocking from Akon. You're going to see Adi throw the slasher in the front, cutting in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, Shai just missed the ball. It's caught by Slasher for the touchdown. Buck gets the extra point. 21-19, ILD takes the lead.
And this is yet another touchdown score by Slasher. You see, Adi is going to him. He's getting open down. He's getting open, driving down the field, and he's finding gaps in front of the end zone. This is at the second touchdown where he gets open in front of the end zone. You see here, Shaw trying to make a play, knock it down. It goes right by Shaw. Good try by Shaw, because normally he either knocks it down or picks it off. Here he doesn't get to it, and because of that, Sasha able to get it. I think because they weren't able to pressure them earlier in the drive, that's why they would lead. That led them to being able to score in this drive here for the touchdown.
First down at the 40-yard line. Lou on 4 rush is sacked by Swish. Swish sped right past Yomi to get the sack. Swish changes style. He was trying to go against Yomi early with power. Can do that.
Nope.
This time, went at him with speed. And second down, Lou on 4 rush, throws a White in the gap for a short game. But Yomi's called for the flag for holding. 10 yards, replayed it down. What do you think of the play?
I think that he just got the hold there, trying to hold, because as you see, the person coming in gets the leverage again, gets the advantage, and Yomi trying to, get back his control, but because of that, he ends up holding the rusher's arm, and the ref calls that. That is, you're not gonna get away with that when the ref is right there. That's unfortunate because Yomi was blocking great in the first half. Now he misses 2 plays in a row.
Lou throws to Jalen in the middle for a nice gain. Third down with blocker from Erod. Lou throws deep to Brian, who has Brandon guard him, incomplete. Last down at the 40-yard line. Lou is blitzed by Swiss, who gets by Yomi. Lou pass to Yomi is blocked by Swiss, incomplete, turnover on down. Grind time can't even get a first down after they threw the ball over yard. I think what hurt them on this drive was it. You try to neutralize and shut Swiss out of the game, but he always finds a way to make a play. That one speed blitz that got the sack caused the frustration by Yomi to get a holding on the very next play. Then Lou takes a shot to Brian, who has Brandon guarding him, and it gets incomplete. Then Swiss gets by Yomi again and is able to knock down Lou's passes. This drive is all Swiss. If you remember, boxing, and you say that round goes to whatever individual, that round went to Swiss. He shut down that grind times attack on his own based on the pressure.
What do you do if you're Yomi? This guy was one of the best blockers in the league this whole season.
Right.
But then you come against one guy who can rush you at 2 different styles. He was able to block him when he's coming in straight up with the straight up. But then as he switches with the speed.
Like going southpaw in boxing.
It's like he just switches up on a dime. Like, what can you do when somebody's able to switch just like that and switch their style? Yomi gets caught surprised this whole drive, and because of that, he gets by, makes a big play, gets by, Yomi ends up getting holding, and then he gets by, knocking the play down, causing a turnover. So what do? Swiss, this was all on him. He's able to change his strategy, and because of that, he stops this grind time offense by himself.
Ali gets the ball back. Remember, right now it is 21-19. Ali throws a Brandon in the gap for a decent game. Second down, Ali with blocker from Akon throws a Brandon in the gap for a nice game, getting him to the 15-yard line. Third down, Adi, who's blitzed by Frank, blocked by Akon and Swiss. Adi throws a slash in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, Slasher cuts outside, pass Rob for the touchdown. Buck gets the extra point, 28-19.
And this is 12 points that were received by IOD because they had Rob guarding on the corner, guarding against Slasher one-on-one. This is a huge mistake that not even an amateur should be able to make. At the end of the day, you should know your personnel and you should know their limits. Rob is not a defender that's going to guard one-on-one one of their best players on their team.
Correct.
And that's Slasher right now. You see Shaw and other defenders like Jalen or whatever struggling to hold Slasher in this game.
Right.
And now you see them going one-on-one with Rob. What are you doing? And then sending other guys that's not capable of getting in on the blitz earlier. So this defense is falling apart because bad decisions are being made with who they're lining up with on their side. And because of that, IOD is now taking advantage. They have the momentum they need to run away with this game.
You don't help Rob. You have Rob on an island. Rob is not a great defender as far as playing zone. And what do you think they do? They set that up to attack Rob. Rob just got beat by Slasher in the first half. You don't think they're going to go into him in the second half? You rather have Baca or even Frank on that corner rather than have them blitzing.
Yeah.
Big mistake by Grind Time. Huge mistake. Right now, because of the extra point, which is another extra point they have gotten, they are up 9, which is what? 2 scores.
Yes.
Lou's going to get the ball, throws a ball on the sideline for a decent gain. Second down, Lou on 4 rush, throws a Brian in the gap for a nice game, picking up the first down. Lou has to score on this drive. Brian has to get involved. Great way to find him there. On 4 rush, Lou throws deep to Bo, cutting in the end zone. just knocked away by Brandon. It would have been a touchdown. Great defense by Brandon to get there.
This man made his career with beating some top defenders out there. So you see Brandon with the catch-up speed, seeing that ball has the angle to get this play, he uses those feet to catch up and make a huge play. If he wasn't there to make this play, this was a definite touchdown. Would have changed the game right here. That's great defense by Brandon.
Second down. Lou is blitzed by Swiss, blocked by Yomi and E-Rock. Lou throws White on the sideline, who runs for a decent gain. Third down, Lou with blocking from Yomi, throws to Anthony, cutting in the gap. That's going to be dropped. Last down, on 4 rush, he throws it to Brian in the back of the end zone, knocked away by Gotti, turnover on downs. They're able to stop him again.
And that huge drop by Anthony is what killed this drop. They would have been at least at the 7-yard line or at least at the 10-yard line if he catches this pass. This is something that he's here for, catching passes in the gaps. But the biggest play in the championship is the one play that he chooses to miss. That's unfortunate because now they're struggling on defense and you give them another opportunity to struggle again when your offense could have brought your team right back in this game.
They're chasing 9. You needed this score. And the inexperience, we've seen Anthony get involved in the passing game versus Carver. You can't come championship day, and I love the boom and I love the energy. This is what you make your money on. This is what you'll be remembered for. Your quarterback went to you in a big possession and you made a huge drop. That's going to hurt them, and they're going to end up getting stopped. Adi with blocking from Swiss, runs in the gap for a nice gain, getting him to the 40-yard line. Second down, Adi with blocking from Swiss, runs for a short gain, picking up the first. Slasher comes in, that quarterback is going to run 3 short plays, and IOD is going to punt. They're up 9, so that was more of a killing the clock, knowing that grind time needs the ball twice, and they're going to end up punting there.
I mean, that's what the best decision you can make because obviously they have to score twice and time is running out. You don't want to take any chances trying to score when you're already up 2 scores, so they are putting all their faith in the defense, knowing that they're able to hold them. Hopefully for them, in this game, they choose right, and they're able to stop grind time in this next drive.
First down on 4 rush, Lou throws the ball, cutting in the gap. Bo is going to trip, picked off by Gotti. IOD gets the ball, wins the game, back-to-back championships, 28-19. They come away with the win.
And they were down they were down 2 scores before this drive here. But if you look here on this play, Lou wanted a flag on this play saying that this was pass interference because there was contact on Bo. But if you look here, as Bo is running for the ball, he trips. There's no pushing, anything like that. They're both running. Even if it's one person locking up with somebody else's foot, that is not a pass interference call. And because of that, that's why Bo falls. And Gotti's able to get the interception. That's unfortunate. But that ends the game. And IOD is once again champions in the UFL.
Slash is going to be named MVP. This is a great game. IOD is a team that won 2 back-to-back chips after going to the Final Four 3 times. They added Swiss, added Akon. Remember, they already had Buck earlier. And they won a championship because of those moves. I know a lot of people say, well, this is not, IOD is, these guys are the U, and it's not really IOD guys, Swiss and Akon. That doesn't make any sense. They're on the IOD roster. They've been a main part of this team in this league.
Yeah.
So they are as much a part of the team as anybody else. It's not about them playing with another team. In the UFL, they are IOD. That is their team. They're as important as this team as Adi, as a slasher. So you can't take away from what these guys did when they say, well, it's because of IOD, because of you. Because if you saw, I don't remember saying Akon at all, other than blocking here and there.
Yeah.
Swiss came through in the second half making some big defensive plays, but he wasn't a part of the passing attack. He didn't make big plays offensively. He wasn't dominant like he was in the last year in the chip game.
Yeah.
So, we seen guys
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and then you can't even count Buck because Buck played with them when they got eliminated the year before to
Right.
99. So he was with this team already before Swiss and Akon decided to join.
Right.
So at the end of the day, this happens all the time where guys decide to join a team to win a championship. You saw Sal and all these guys join that play with Monsters Inc. Tommy and all these guys to join and play with Carver. So it's the same thing. I believe that in this league, they are just as much Carver as anybody else because they played throughout the season with this team doing what they can to win a championship. So it's the same thing. You don't take away from these guys playing for the team that they came here to play with. Like Carver, like Cabby, or with Sal, or with AJ, or with Tommy, you know, are you going to say, oh, that's Monsters Inc. or whoever? No. You're going to say that's Carver.
Because
That's
in the
what
UFL,
because in this league,
right.
that's Carver. You know, it's the same with Super Friends. They built their team to win a championship. So regardless of who came from where,
who's on this team
yes,
in
and
this
who
league.
was able to play. Were they lights out? Did they dominate and blow everybody out? Not at all. And it's the same with IOD. They played.
Or not to cut you off, but like Shannon. Shannon won. If Shannon would have won a championship throwing for 99, you can't say, well, it's to you because Shannon is the starting quarterback for 99 Problems. I agree with you. I hear what you're saying.
And he already played with that team prior and
Correct.
went to a championship, you know, years back. So to take anything from them because they're originally from another team doesn't matter. The UFL is a different animal, and that's where we rated as they played as a team and they end up winning as a team. That's all there is to it.
They made some crucial mistakes, grind time. First of all, they had Bo giving in the ball. That makes no sense. Bo's a guy that you would have given the ball if he was facing the Shannon, a running quarterback. Adi's not a runner. He can run, but he doesn't like to run, similar to Lou. You don't need a speed rush against Lou because Lou's not a big-time runner. He doesn't like to run. Same thing with Adi. And then you knew that Swiss been blocking from the whole playoffs, the whole season, or Akon. So you neutralized Bo's talent by putting him at ball giver. That was their first mistake. So I'm going to write down mistakes that they made, and you'll see it on the screen. Bo at giver. That was their one mistake.
Okay.
Next mistake they made. They put Rob on the outside corner when he's an inside linebacker. When you put him in the inside, you protect his liability being in pass coverage. When you put him on the corner, you expose his weakness because he's on an island.
Yeah.
That's why Slasher beat him twice for 2 touchdowns. You put him on an island. That was another mistake that they made.
Okay.
So that's their second mistake. By putting Rob at corner. Third mistake, and it's the same type. They didn't have Rob blitzing. Rob had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
This team led the league in sacks. They are a finesse team. But you're playing a power IOD. You need muscle. So you're supposed to send in your muscle. They send guys like Baca. Bo came in on 4 rush. Frank, and they were neutralized. That is a big mistake. Their blitzing assignments was wrong. That's your third mistake. That's just on defense. Now, on offense, the mistake they made on certain drives. Yomi holding Swiss in the second half. Huge mistake there. You can see it because then it ended up snowballing on that drive.
Yeah.
They end up holding. Then Swiss ends up getting by, knocking the pass down. You know, that was huge. Swiss gets a sack. On the next play, Yomi gets a hold. And then following at the end of that, Swiss beats Yomi and able to knock the play down. That is a huge play. That's another mistake that they made. That's 4. Next one. When they were chasing 9, Ant drops a huge 3rd down. A huge 3rd down. Huge. That would have put them in the red zone. They end up getting stopped on 4th down as Gotti knocks away the ball. And then when they get the ball back, Bo trips. but Lou goes for a bomb on first down, tries to make a big play. That hurt them.
Yeah.
Those are some crucial mistakes that they made. This team went in, and again, the last mistake. ILD scored 4 times. Right?
Yeah.
They got 3 extra points. Grind Time scored 3 times, and they got 1 extra point.
Okay.
They went into the half up 5. If you get an extra point, another extra point, you can go up 6, go up 7. By you only going up 5 going into the half, that is huge because a touchdown and you lose the lead. And that's exactly what happened. A touchdown cost them to lose the lead. And then they gave up the ball, and then they scored again. Those are mistakes that you make that cost you the game. I know people are going to say, oh, they got beat because ILD was the better team. They had no chance. That makes no sense. You're up 5 going into the half.
But my thing is, 2 things I'm going to emphasize. One, you did mention a lot of, which is the defensive strategy. They messed up with the whole thing with Rob on the corner. That's one thing that's definitely emphasized no matter what. Anybody looking at this game should know that they made a mistake there. Another thing that I believe Lou kind of led away from was not orchestrating your defense around White. White was the person
You said orchestrating your defense around White.
Planning your offense around White.
White should have been the main force on that.
White has been the guy who was not being able, that they were not guarding. He was slipping through the defense and was one of the main reasons why they were able to drive down the field in the first half. They went away from that eventually, and because of that, they kind of struggled in the second half. They didn't score any points in the second half.
Right.
And you want the player that's hot to keep getting the ball.
Yeah.
And you didn't see him barely get any passes thrown to him in the second half, whether it's because they started paying attention to him or whatnot, but you change up the routes to get White open. All right, so we looked at the mistakes or whatever, but we got to give a shout out to the person who helped them win this game, the championship MVP and Slasher.
Yeah.
Slasher, this guy was lights out. Obviously, they had guys that was on him that can't stay with him.
Yeah.
People forget that yes, they had Swiss this season. Yes, they had Akon. Yes, they had Buck on offense. Yes, they had Brandon, who one of the best offensive players this season. But you forget about Slasher being one of their best players anytime they come on the field. Slasher's one of their best guys out there. And he played like it in this game.
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. Obviously, 2 was on Rob, which is a clear mismatch. But then when they had their better defenders on him, they still weren't able to stop him.
A former defensive and MVP.
Yes, defensive and MVP, and Slasher just finds a way to get open past him. And Adi was able to connect with him. So shout out to him. This man played like a champion, and that is why they were one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why they won. Adi, you got to give him some props too. He made some great decisions out there. Was able to run when he needed to.
The running was huge.
And the funny thing is, he did a lot of running this season.
But he runs the weirdest in football.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
But he's still a bad man. He can still run.
Yes.
That's why I like to call him Aaron Rodgers. But he runs weird. Let's call it a spade a spade.
Meaning it's not the prettiest form when he's running. But at the end of the day, he gets yardage and he keeps the chains moving. And because of that, that's another reason why they won a championship. And another thing is you got to give credit to Swiss yet again. He played huge in that second half. That one drive is pretty much the defining moment in the game.
Yeah.
There's always a defining moment in any championship game, and that was the defining moment. He wasn't the championship MVP this time around, but he showed that when he comes and he has to step up to make a play for his team, he'll always be the man to do it. He's able to do it on this drive right here, and that's another reason why they're champions right now.
And we're gonna wrap this one up. Like we said, shout out to ILD, back-to-back champions, 28-19 over Grind Time. Great season by Grind Time. First year they made it to the championship. We're gonna go over the All-Star, the MVP, the award winners, and then we're gonna give you our top 5 teams in the UFL up to this point.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up and talk to you after. So we're gonna go right now. I'm gonna start it off right now. First award, Rookie of the Year. you're going to have Will from LES Raiders winning Rookie of the Year. This kid was money all season. Great season, man.
And this man did it on both sides of the field. On defense, he was doing everything that he can for his team. On offense, he was hard to guard, getting open in the gaps downfield. This man came in running full speed. A lot of guys weren't able to figure out his game, and that's why he kind of lit up the scoreboards and the stat lines, catching one-handed catches. Whatever he had to for his team, this man was able to do, and that is why he was able to win Rookie of the Year, because he was playing like an MVP out there in his first season in this league.
Next award we're going to give you the Johnny Rockstar Award, Heart and Determination. That's a guy that plays hard every play, every down, goes hard, 100 miles an hour. We had some big-time guys win this. Yomi won it before, Ricky won it before. We had some guys win this, Mish won it before, and this year, John, for y'all guys that don't know, Johnny was a guy that played in the UFL some years back with the Unknowns and the Kill Bills, and he passed away, unfortunately. And you had Rockstar from BQFL. Everybody knows this guy, passed away in a car accident, so we decided to link the awards up because Johnny always played with heart, no matter what. And Rockstar played with a determination that's unheard of. And we decided to put the name together. That's the award. Timmy from Team X won that award.
And this man did whatever he had to for his team. If he had to block and protect the quarterback, that's exactly what he did. If he had to blitz and put pressure on the opposing quarterback, that's exactly what he did. If he had to line up as the receiver and score points for this offense, that's what he did. If he had to line up as a defender and guard some of the best receivers out there, that's exactly what he did. This man did everything that he had to do, playing almost every single position, and he was pretty much effective in every single thing that he did, playing his hardest, and that's why he definitely deserved that award.
The next award we're going to have, which is the Kendisha Carroll Price Most Improved Player. That's an award, obviously, the way it sounds. Kendisha Carroll Price is our niece.
Yeah.
That we named the award after her. She passed away. And we had some guys really win this award.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely it was a situation we went through, our family went through, and we was able to come back from that and improve our life because of the tragedy.
Yeah.
And that's why we named the award after her. You had guys like KC won it.
Yeah.
Hollywood won it. Mm-hmm. So you had some big time players that won that award in this league before. That's going to be given to Brandon of IOD.
And this man made a huge improvement. The funny thing about it is Brandon is pretty much one of the best guys, guest players on IOD on both sides of the field. But for some reason in this league, he never kind of stood out on his team.
Right.
He was never like the main guy on either side.
He made an all-star team.
Yes, this is the first time. And the thing is, his talent was always there, but he never stood out amongst his teammates. And this is the first time that he was able to stand out and show his dominance. This man was dominant on offense. He was obviously a great player on defense, but he was especially dominant on offense.
Correct.
This season, stepping up and leading a charge on this team on their offensive side, and that's why he ended up winning the award for Most Improved.
Next player we're gonna have is the Giver of the Year, and that's going to go to Cap of Harbor Union.
And this man early on in the season was sacking whichever quarterback he faced. This Harbor Humans team, let's be honest, had one of the worst, if not the worst, defense out there. They were terrible. But then you had Cap still doing what he had to do and sacking the quarterback.
Leading the league.
And the funny thing is, you lead the league with one of the worst defenses in the league, showing that they're not locking up anybody.
Yeah.
You need a secondary to lock up these receivers.
And
he was still able to lead the league with
sacks.
That is puzzling, if you ask me. But that shows that Cap is willing to put the effort to pressure these quarterbacks any chance he gets, and that's why he wins that award there.
Next player we're gonna have is the Blocker of the Year, and this guy was dominant from the word go. We're gonna have the blocker from YMM, our guy G.
And this man, whenever he stepped on the field, you were not getting to his quarterback. That's pretty much what he showed when going on there. He didn't even have to say it. His play says it all. Nobody was really getting through this man. That's one of the reasons why Corey's numbers were as ridiculous as they were, because Corey was comfortable in the pocket, not worrying about anybody rushing in, and because of that, that's why G definitely deserves this award. It was a close call between him and I believe Yomi of Grind Time, because he's another dominant blocker on the opposite side, but G just edges him out, and Corey was able to have such a successful season because of how much protection he was able to get from G, and that's why G definitely deserved that award.
Next award, we're going to have quarterback of the year, and that's the quarterback who played the best this season. We're going to have YMM starting quarterback, Corey.
And this was not as easy a decision to make. I mean, this was not as tough a decision to make, in my opinion. The only person that was able to challenge him on the opposite side for quarterback of the year, well, two was I believe Chris of Harbor Humans was a contender there, and I believe Lou was another contender from Grind Time, because both of these quarterbacks had a terrific season, but there's no question that Corey had the best season in this league, because he led the league in touchdowns throwing, and he rushed for 3 touchdowns as well with his feet. So being able to do that, reducing his sacks, reducing his interceptions, that only shows a quarterback of the year mentality that Corey had, and that's why he definitely deserved that award.
This next award is going to go for the offensive player of the year. This guy was dominant from the beginning of the year, making some crazy plays. 99 problem starting quarterback, Shannon.
And there's a reason why I kind of didn't mention him as one of the quarterback of the year contenders. He was definitely a contender for that award, but I wanted to save it for him winning this award because he was pretty much total offense by himself. And that is why, yes, he was up there for quarterback of the year, but this man was an offensive juggernaut.
And a nightmare.
And the funny thing is, no team was ever looking forward to facing this man.
No.
At any given moment.
Wolverines forfeited their game.
Yes,
they didn't want to chase him.
forfeited their game at the end of the season because they didn't want to chase him around. This man, probably one of the fastest to ever play in this league. There's no way you're catching him once he starts getting those engines running. And then he has the arm to get downfield at any given time. Like you said, this man is a nightmare to face. And he is an offensive team all by himself.
Next player is going to go to Defensive Player of the Year. This guy really stepped it this year, played great defense. UTF starting safety, Trey.
And this man stepped up his game on defense. We've always known that he was a capable defender, but you always question his consistency. Sometimes he will have good plays here, but then he'll either drop off or make a bad play to counteract the good he's done. He improved a lot this season and was a lot more consistent on defense, leading up there in interceptions with 5, and being their best defender out there on this UTF, leading the charge on their defense, and that is why he definitely deserved that award.
The next award is going to go to Coach Captain of the Year, and that's not only about coaching, it's putting the team together. It's also leading the charge.
Yes.
And it's definitely being one of the top leaders. You don't got to be a coach. You could be a captain, however. And this goes to Carver Mob starting quarterback, Chuck. He was the one that put this Carver Mob team together, and they actually went undefeated.
And the thing about this team is, okay, some people will say, well, how would this guy deserve this or whatever if they ended the season the way they did or whatever. But at the end of the day, again, we do not award people for how they do in the playoffs.
No, this is a regular
Never. So at the end of the day, Chuck had the best team set up in this league.
Because Pam gave some credit for putting this whole thing together, picking the players, all that. So that's why.
And you see Chuck every now and then counseling the guys on the sideline, making sure that the defense is lined up a certain way, making sure that the offense plays a certain way as he's quarterbacking, knowing his personnel and lining up where they perfectly match up. And the thing about it is, you know, even though, like we said, we don't award what goes on in the playoffs or whatever, but that shows that his absence in the playoff, in that playoff game, was a big factor because he was not only their quarterback, but he was also their interim coach there, and that's one of the reasons why he definitely deserved the award for Coach Captain.
This team was 5-0, beat every team in their division. They also forfeited their last 2 games because they didn't feel they needed to play it. Yeah. They were number 3 in offense and number 1 in defense, giving up 5.6 points per game. That is less than a touchdown a game. That is unheard of.
And so that's why I say regardless of whatever happened after all of that, he definitely deserved this award for having the best team set up by him, led by him throughout the season.
And the next award is going to go to the league MVP. And that's going to go to YMM starting quarterback, Corey.
And I believe this is the second time where the same player won two
Yes, it
awards,
only
two
happened
awards
once.
in the season.
Right.
And the only time that ever happened other than him was by
Macho winning MVP
yes,
and most
for
improved.
the former team, Violators, when he had most improved and MVP, this man improved his game. But then you see Corey coming off of a season where he only had 6 touchdowns, splitting the responsibility with Jeremy to lead in the league in touchdowns with 23. 2 away from the top touchdown lead of all time in one
held by
season.
Chuck with 25.
Yes. So my thing is this.
But then he ran 4.
Yes, he
So
ran 4.
The most total touchdowns in the season in UFL history.
Like I said, to able to lay out all of that stat line, and I believe he only threw 5 interceptions this season.
And they had the #1 offense, even though they had the second worst defense in the league.
But again, Corey's not penalized for how bad their defense is. It's just how dominant their offense is, and that's all contributing from contribution from Corey and his play on offense all around.
And I think it went down also to the fact that they had the worst defense in the league. They gave up the second worst defense. They gave up 18.4 points a game. Only the Wolverines gave up more with 21. But Corey scored 22.7 points a game. And the team went 5-2. You go 5-2 with the worst defense in the league, second worst defense in the league. There's 13 teams in here.
Yeah.
You had worse defense than 12 other teams.
Yes.
And you still lead the league in scoring, and you still go 5-2.
And that just shows that he, by himself, was able to create their offense. He was able to create their offensive numbers, getting guys that wouldn't normally be an offensive offensive, weapon on a team. Corey was able to find all of these guys. He utilized Josh, he utilized Kaka, he used Brandon, even though Brandon was an award winner the previous year. He used every guy that he needed to use throughout the season, and he was able to get his points no matter what. That's why Corey definitely deserved the MVP there.
All right, real quick, we're gonna go over our top 5 teams, and in the league, all time. We've been doing this 7 years.
Yeah.
My top 5. I think the best team in the UFL was Carve 'em Up.
Yeah, I mean,
three championships. Stood within the rules of the A-player rule. Won 3 championships, and they had team players they had role players step up. People don't remember Dennis stepping up. People don't remember Capo.
Yeah.
That they had when they won their first chip. Nas only won 1 chip with this team.
Yeah.
They had Johnny V. They had Dirt. They had Bishop. They had role players to go with their star players, and they won 3 consecutive championships in a row. That is my #1 team of UFL all times. Tell me if you got the same thing, and then we'll go next.
There's no question that this team was the best all time in this league because, again, it's just how they were able to win those 3 championships. First of all, they are always in the top bracket. They're always the top of their division, regardless of what team they set up on or walked on the field on. As soon as they walked on the field, they pretty much had the best team, the best strategy, one of the best defenses, and offense that outscored everybody else.
Well, when they won their 3 championships, they led the league in scoring all 3 times.
Yes. So at the end of the day, regardless of what you look at when it comes to the Carver name and everything like that, they have these guys or whatever. Like you said, they stood within the A rule. They had a lot of role players step up and play some great football. And I think the strategies between these guys, Chuck and Pam's, and Ricky, you got to give Ricky some credit.
Absolutely.
Then you had guys like Danny, back when they won their first 2 championships, strategizing with this team, everybody stepping up and playing their role properly. And I think that's why, regardless of how you look at it, this Carver Mob team will always be the best in the league because they've never went anywhere below Final Four.
And they was in this league 6 years.
Yes.
And they never went anything less than a Final Four game. That's amazing. Next team I have, my number 2 team, and it's because they won this championship, they moved up. IOD is the second best team in UFL history to me. They went to 3 straight Final Fours. Then they won 2 straight championships.
Yes.
This team is one of the best in the league ever to be formed as far as the number 2 team. That's my pick. Who you have? Who's your second team?
And I'm going to say a team that's kind of a throwback. They played in the league this year, but they were a shadow of their former self. I got to say that the Browns is still the number 2 for me.
So to you, it's the Browns?
Yes, I got to say the Browns. At least the old Browns, are not the Browns as they were when they were a championship contender. Because remember, when they played in the league in the Bronx the first time, they lost
the Final Four
to that NVR team
yes.
to go to the championship. And in the next 2 years, they went to the championship. So this team was a contender from way back when. And this team was within 7 and 1 point to winning a championship against Carver.
Even though they didn't win the championship, you got them higher than IOD?
I think so. Because remember, this IOD team was never able to beat the Browns at their prime.
Correct. Correct.
So the IOD only was able to step up after the Browns kind of left that top tier level. Then they started struggling with YMM, who they couldn't beat the year after.
Right.
When that was supposed to be their year to win a championship, they lost to YMM. Then the year after that, they lost to 99, I believe, the year after in the second round. So is that a top team, a top 2 team? I don't think so. Yes, they won the last 2 years, but that was pretty much it for IOD. They never got further than that until they were able to build the team that they have now. So that's why, personally, I think the Browns had the better team at the moment, and that's why, to me, all around, the Browns were number 2.
My number 3 team in the league is YMM.
Mm-hmm.
This team came in young, went to a championship, took a step back as they changed the quarterback, and then before they about to hit their prime, went to another championship but with a different quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing that they was able to do it. They came up short, coming back, getting another quarterback, and getting to the Final Four. I think had they not got to the Final Four, had they got to the championship, I would have put them number 2. But because they lost that game, I put them number 3 because they also was a team that got knocked out in the first round to the Generals. You got to remember that. So I think because of that hit on their resume, I got them as my number 3 team in UFL history. What about you?
I can't agree with that. I think that even though I couldn't put IOD as the number 2 team, they are a close number 3.
So
because,
who's the number 3?
IOD. I believe IOD is the number 3 for me. Even though I couldn't put them at number 2, I can't have them that far behind from the Browns because right when they were out the gate, their first year in this league, they went to the Final Four.
Correct.
2 years in a row, they went to a Final... 3 years in a row, they went to a Final Four. This team was always at the edge, right in the doorway to get to the championship. They faced the Browns twice, they lost. Then they faced YMM, they lost, yes. But other than that, they were contenders all throughout the way. And those 2 championships that they won, that YMM haven't won yet, kind of puts them over YMM for me. And that's why, to me, they're the number 2.
My number 4 team is the Browns. The Browns was dominant their first 3 years in the league. They also have an all-time scoring record in combined points that nobody's broken at 200 and some points in one season. Mm-hmm. So this team has scored more points than everybody in one season. This is my top team when they had guys like Puka, in his prime, won MVP in this league, won MVP of the All-Star game. Trev was the next coming up. They had role players. They had Nutt. They had Darnell. They had Weeze. They had G Black, who stood healthy. Remember, as his career went, he kind of broke down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had very good offense, and they had one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Reggie, who guided them to 2 championships. Because they lost to Carver, 15-14 and 7-0 is the only reason they have not been a championship. They don't have a championship. And they lost on a big pass, a big catch by Matrix that actually beat them in the Final Four game versus MVR. This team is the number 4. Now, I understand you said and their former Browns, it's not the same, but this still goes on your resume.
Yeah.
Just like when Jordan came back, we know it's a different Jordan, but it still goes on your resume. And the team, the Browns that's upon the field, has not been the same Browns. And I think their brand took a hit because of it, that I had to lower them to the number 4 team all time in UFL.
And my number 4 would be YMM. I think that this is where they come in because, yes, they were a contender from the gate. The first time this league came to the Bronx, they went to the championship. They came in, I believe, in week 2 or week 3 and pretty much ran through the league and went to the championship. They beat some of the best teams to make it to the championship on the East. They fought. They went against Reckless, who was still a contender at the time. They ran through them. They ran through. They ran through them. They were able to beat every other team on that side, and went to the championship. Then, as they went along, they lost in the first round against the Generals. Yes, they took a hit because of that. I believe that they did. Then they went to the championship to Carver, lost by 7. Then the next year they lost. They lost in the first round again. Then they went to the Final Four. I mean, the Elite 8, then lost to IOD. And then this season, they lose in the Final Four. So it's like this team comes up close and then falls short every single time. They went to the championship twice. And other than that, they barely made it to the Final Four. So this team is very spotty. Sometimes they have a good defense. Sometimes they have the worst defense in the league. So because that inconsistency happens to them every now and then, that's why I can't put them higher than 4th right now.
And my number 5 team, and this was very, very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
I put Super Friends over 99. I had 99, but I'm going to tell you why I put Super Friends over them as the number 5 team. 99 went from the Western Conference, where they lost in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they were 2-8. To going to a championship when they went to the East.
Yeah.
To having the best record and losing in the second round again, which is second like the first round. They had a first round bye and lost.
Yeah.
And then this season they lost again in the second round. So they lost in back-to-back second rounds.
Yeah.
That is what kind of hurt me to put them. Remember, so they went to a chip, lost the first round, went to a chip, lost in the second round, lost in the second round. You take a hit for that. When Super Friends, remember, they started off as primetime.
Yes.
Final Four, chip, won it,
Yeah.
lost in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it was kind of a toss-up, and I think only because they were playing in the difficult Western Conference, I put them just a edge here, half a point, half. And if I can, honestly, I'm going to change that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a tie between 99 and Super Friends because Super Friends did not play this season.
Yeah.
99 did.
Okay.
So I can't criticize Super 99 for playing and Super Friends didn't. So because of that, my number 5 team in the UFL all-time teams is a tie between 99 and Super Friends.
And I don't think that's fair. That's why
it's my list.
Yeah, that's your list. My list, I'm sorry, I can only have one team on the number 5, and that is Super Friends. That's because the tiebreaker was already decided when these two teams faced off in the championship.
Okay.
And Super Friends came out victorious in that championship.
But they beat them in the regular season the following year.
That's fine, but regular season, championship, which is heavier? Which is more solid? The championship, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, if you agree with logic. So at the end of the day, the Super Friends have that tiebreaker. Yes, they started as primetime. First season they came in the league, they lost in the Final Four. The second season they came in the league, they turned to the Super Friends, became a better team. They end up winning the championship. The third year in the league, they lost in the Elite 8 against the same team that they beat last year in Carver in the Final Four. So the team, like 99, they went to a championship. I mean, they were 2-8. They got eliminated. They went to a championship the next year. They were number one in their division a year after that, but then lose in the second round.
Coming off of a bye.
Yes, coming off of a bye, they lose to Rep City, a team that I feel that they were supposed to beat.
Okay.
No questions asked. And then the next season, they end up falling in the same position, losing to YMM in a game that they had in their hands. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much the reason why I still edge out Super Friends above this 99 team, because, again, the tiebreaker was already decided when they faced each other in the championship. That's the main reason why I put them, Super Friends, over them in 5th.
I guess the only one we got the same is Carver.
Yeah.
Number 2, you have the Browns. I have IOD. Number 3, you have IOD. I have YMM. Number 4, you have YMM. I have the Browns. Number 5, you have Super Friends, and I have Super Friends in 99 tied. Pretty good. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Sorry it was a little long, but this is the last show of the season. And just to let y'all know, we want to thank all the people that's been a part of the UFL these last 7 years. We have come up with a plan. We had a meeting, and the league will be taking a drastic change. We'll be back. We're not announcing that we're not coming back.
Yeah.
But we want to have a C division. So the league will be turning into a C division. We did the A for 7 years. Mm-hmm. We believe we changed the game in that 7 years. We was mentioned up there with City Island and EHS and BQFL and LES. And that was very, very humbling.
Yeah.
But now we want to try to help develop the talent in order to get these guys to the A.
And the thing about it is that was not necessarily the goal that we set out to make, to reach, being talked about with the other leagues, anything like that. We just wanted to do something a little bit different, something that made things interesting. Because, obviously everybody plays football in different leagues or whatever, but we wanted to showcase the game a little bit differently to make sure that a lot of guys that wouldn't normally get shine or whatever because they're getting outshadowed by somebody else, to show them, to give them that shine. A lot of players kind of made their name in our league because they got the coverage that we gave them.
Correct.
Not to try to, pat ourselves on the back, but sometimes getting showcased like that is brings out your talent that much more. It elevates your game.
And in the game film, you got,
And then a lot of teams shop around for different guys that they may notice on probably a low-level team or whatever, and then that's how they become better players on another team, and then they create something big when either they win in our league or somewhere else. So we kind of enjoyed watching so many players develop, and I think that was one of the main reasons why we decided to go to do a C League, because that's how some of the best up-and-coming talent come from.
And
that's where they come from.
Their talent on this type of platform. I agree with you.
So that's kind of why, we made this decision, because that's where the talent is up and coming.
And we have some teams that's coming in. We got teams like Suicide Squad and Buttercups and Harbor Humans and
coming back. Yes.
That possibly the Generals, but they may not go under that name. Primetime, FAA. So we got a few teams that's interested in coming in the league. And we thank them. Obviously, it's a long time between now and then.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely go to C play. We're going to see how we're going to do with C League. I don't think A players are going to be able to play, unfortunately.
At all, yeah.
Definitely no A quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So now we change the chapter. We do something different, and that's what it's time for. It's time to show. We help develop guys like Rico from YMM, Shy from Grind Time. We showed the talents of Puka from the Browns. These are guys that dominated, and you got to see them with us every week. You got to see them develop and get better every week. And that's what we want to go back to. I think we kind of went away from that. And we're going to go back to that and try to develop it in order to make it more competitive in the A divisions. You got to develop these guys, having game film, having their mistakes shown on video, and that's the only way we're going to get better. So the coverage that we show is going to help make the game better.
And I think that for us, that's where a lot of the enjoyment came from.
Correct.
In a way, because when we did our C2 division in Brooklyn, we saw a lot of up and coming talent coming out of there. So that's one of the reasons why we said
Ryan, one of the guys, plays with Carver now.
Yes.
So yeah.
So my thing is, a lot of talent that comes from certain small teams or whatever, that comes from the C division or whatever, that up and coming teams becomes some great talent that plays in the top tiers. So we want to see that emergence of this talent, and that's one of the reasons why we want to switch to the C division, at least for one season, just to see how these guys develop.
All right, we're going to thank y'all for being with us. We're going to wrap the show up a little long, but, you know, it is what it is, the last show.
And you always say, what?
We don't care. Yeah, I don't care.
You.
So I'm going to do what I want to do. So we're going to thank y'all. Congratulations to the award winners. Congratulations to IOD for winning a second championship. Congratulations to Grind Time for getting to the championship. Congratulations to we thank all the teams that's played in the league. We're going to show you a list of all the teams right now you see on the screen. It's too many to say the names. So we're going to thank all the teams that played in the league for the last 7 years. Thank all the teams. And shout out to the new teams coming in to develop the new journey that the UFL is going into. We're going to thank the commissioner of the UFL League, Timmy, for putting this together and bringing me and Ghost in. We're going to thank Dawn for being with us all these years. And we're going to thank our fans for really supporting us in this Tuff Talk. Definitely we do this for y'all guys. It becomes stressful, but we got to do for y'all. We want to thank y'all for being with us these last 7 years and hope y'all prepared for the new ride that we're going to take coming into the future of the UFL. So, anything you want to jump in and say before we wrap up?
Pretty much you said the gist of everything. Obviously, you know, like we emphasized before, like we don't get a salary for the stuff that we do here.
Right.
Like, this is just a little extra that we like to provide because it's fun for us. And the thing is, we always talk about where the motivation and what we do came from.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, you know, playing in the backyard or in the park, you always want to see, you know, compare yourself to some of the stars out there in the professional football and whatever. We always saw that, and we wanted to build off of something like that. And that's where that became your brainchild, and then that became our creation, and this became what we have here. You always love to say that this is your ESPN or anything like that. This is your, you know, game analysis or whatever. And I think that it makes the game interesting because we can have a conversation on, you know, which guys are good, which guys are up and coming, who's the best, who's not, you know, and it's fun to have. And that's one of the reasons why we keep doing this every year.
And I hope y'all ready because we have a lot of ideas. I mean, everything from Ghost already got an idea, and I know you don't want me to leak it, but I'm going to leak it, of creating an app on your phone. Yeah. That'll give you breaking news from Real Tuff Talk. No more just going to Instagram and stuff. It will show up on your phone.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing, top signings and stuff like that, and players playing with this team because of the rules going to have to be specified that you have to let the league know before your next game if you added somebody. So we will be able to break the new. It's going to be amazing, and I think you're able to do more with the C division, B division, however you want to say, because some of the A players are prima donnas. You know, it is what it is. I mean, more quality, the more complaints, more arguments, and however you want to say it.
I mean, but that's professional.
That's a part of it anyway. But we want to take a different turn. We want to develop the young to come up and show their talents too, because we have a lot of guys in lower divisions playing. And I think you still got LES, you still got EHS, you still got BQFL, you still got City Island. So the A is not going anywhere. Yeah. We just decided to take a different type of journey, a different type of role because we wanted to try something new. So we have a lot of new ideas coming in. It's going to be amazing. A lot of set changes, a lot of changes. I hope y'all prepare for it because I'm excited. And we thank y'all for being here with us. We're going to wrap this show up. On behalf of Real Tuff Talk, I'm Jay, my partner Ghost. We're going to thank you for the last time as the A Division League for joining us in Real Tuff Talk. C Division, we coming. We see y'all guys soon. Talk to y'all later. We out.